what's the ruling on learning the Quran without teaching it? So if you learn it, is it your obligation to teach it and pass it down, your own interpretation?
It's mashallah, just amazing question. Another very beautiful question. Look, in terms of passing on a knowledge, there are two types of knowledge. One is very common knowledge, okay, which is oneness of God, okay, and for example, number of rakat that you have to pray in Fajr or Dhuhr, which is everyone knows, okay. So if them type of issues, and some non-Muslim is interested to find out, okay, so what do you guys practice? So then yes, definitely you have to inform. But if it is complicated issues, okay, which is related to, regardless, if it is theological complicated issues, by the way, we do not have any complicated theological issues in Islam, but people make up complicated theological issues, fabricated, okay. So if that's the case, difficult questions, so then you shouldn't get engaged into it, okay. Even if, for example, people consider you as teacher or scholar, but you know from yourself that you are not qualified, means you shouldn't get engaged into it, because people, non-qualified people, have been speaking all the time, you know, since Prophet Muhammad died, alayhi salatu wasalam. So people started speaking, you know. So now we have got this jumbo mumbo in a big shape called Islam, but it's just nonsense thing, you know. So it's because of all of these opinions. But unfortunately, all of the jumbo mumbos of the past now classed as imam, sheikh, imam. Do you understand? So those are the people who are ruining the Islam. So if you're not qualified, do not speak, please. Okay. So that would be my comment. Yeah.
I mean, obviously there are study circles. They're good.
You know, we have quite a lot of them. Yes. So we have good and we have bad. Yes, of course. Yeah. So for example, just my question to you. So for example, do you know this martial arts? We have many instructors. Are all of them are good equally?
No.
Same thing in Islam. Teachers who are teaching, spreading Islam. So not all of them are good enough. Okay, so some is making money, some is making fame, but some are genuinely teaching. So we have all sorts of things. So, do you know, they say 5 fingers but not equal, you know? Same thing even in Islam.
I mean, obviously the best thing is to read the Quran for yourself, but the reason why people seek the expertise from elsewhere is because they don't even trust their own interpretation, their own opinion. So, I mean, I know you say reading it over and again, it gives you clarity, but even then people feel that they need that outside expert.
Quran doesn't need an interpretation. Quran is clear by itself. But maybe you don't know how to deal with Quran. So let's suppose that you want to know about the issue of, let's say, a paradise. So get all of the verses of Quran which speaks about paradise, just put them together. And then read the first one and take notes. Read the next one, but in context. Take a note, third, fourth, all of them, and then compare your notes, but together. Same thing, now we have this battle, jihad, rebellion, many things. So Quran speaks about it quite intensively. So read all of the verses, okay, but read them in the context and take note, your own understanding. Okay, so from the issues of the battle which is mentioned in Surah Al-Baqarah, I understood such and such thing. And the same thing in Surah An-Nisa, I understood such and such. In Ma'idah, Surah At-Tawbah. Okay, so I understood, and after all of that, just compare them all, then you see the issue. Very clear. Okay, but what makes it to be confusing? It is just opinions of these people are making it confusing. Okay, but Quran, God is very clearly saying, Alif Lam Mim, ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابِ, this is the book, لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ, there is no any unclarity in it. There is no any doubt in it. Okay, so هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. Okay, so it is guidance for the righteous people, actually.
If it's clear, why do you think there are such differing interpretations. Some that some people wouldn't even respect. So it's to that degree. It's not a different shade of the same color. It's just a completely different interpretation.
No. Most of the time, it is because they look into Quran only by 1/4 of one eye. Just open both of your eyes and then look at it. Okay, so God did warn about it in Surah Al-Baqarah. Allah says, أَفَتُؤْمِنُونَ بِبَعْضِ الْكِتَابِ وَتَكْفُرُونَ بِبَعْضِ. Are you going to believe in some part of the book and reject the rest? Then God says, فَمَا جَزَاءُ مَنْ يَفْعَلُ ذَلِكَ مِنْكُمْ إِلَّا خِزْيٌ فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. And anyone who does it from you, so he's going to get humiliation in this world. وَيَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ يُرَدُّونَ إِلَىٰ أَشَدِّ الْعَذَابِ. And in the day of judgment, they will be sent to the most painful punishment. وَمَا اللَّهُ بِغَافِلٍ عَمَّا. So, and God is not heedless about what you guys are doing. Okay, so most of the, you can say, reason of these conflicts and disagreements about the issues which is mentioned in Quran is because they do not look into the one topic by bringing all of the verses speaking about this topic, but they just look into this just one ayah out of the context, then they just go ahead with it. So that is the most common reason. And the second is because of them not being qualified linguistically. So we have this sect now, they say, yeah, there is no metaphor in Quran. They're not qualified. They never studied language. Okay? And we have another group now, they're trying to give interpretation to Quran by contemporary Arabic language. We did mention this issue before. For example, this issue of laptop. Laptop is this small PC computer, okay, which you can use. So now let's go back 10 years ago in history, 10 years only. Okay, so if I would say to you 10 years ago, yesterday I was working in my laptop and just I slept holding my laptop, what would you understand? 10 years ago? Nothing, isn't it? But what about, for example, if I would write one whole book, 500 pages, about laptop. So, nothing in this book would be understood. 500 pages, just nothing, waste. So, what is laptop, 500 pages? He's not understanding, They wouldn't even understand. So now we are only talking about 10 years. So language upgrading, language changing within 10 years that badly that one whole book of 500 pages would be not understood. So what do you think about not 10 years but hundreds of these 10 years, which altogether will be 1,400 years? So how many laptops changed within this period? So if you want to understand Quran, don't use the contemporary language, Arabic language. Okay, for example, in contemporary Arabic language, if they say Muwagadush, in that ancient language would be translated as Lam Yajidu. So, do you see the difference between Muwagadush and Lam Yajidu? Of course. And do you see the difference between, for example, Rajul and Rajal? Rajul in Quran means what they say now, Rajal. Difference. Actually, Rajal, this spelling in Quranic language would mean plural, man. Rajul, man, one man. But Rajal, what they say, this spelling in Quran is Rijal. فيه رجال يحبون أن يتطهروا. Rijal, plural. So, don't use your contemporary understanding of Arabic language, contemporary dialect of Arabic language, to understand book which is revealed 1,400 years ago. Go and learn it. Go and learn the Quranic Arabic language. So that is another reason for reason for Quran, for these disagreements to happen. Okay, and we have some other reasons. Okay, but one thing, the genuine believer will be guided by God, definitely. But it's only those, for example, who are only interested, for example, to win the debate, okay, or to please his followers, or to look like a Superman in front of the people. So only those people will be misguided.